Hello everybody, welcome back to HomeStoryCup Group D. For you today, I have ShaDoWn versus Mixu. These are not Serral, Showtime, or Spirit who are duking it out for top 3, but I thought it would be cool to take a little detour and look at what the other players are like in this Group D. They are, of course, playing my favorite ZVP matchup. So I thought it would be interesting to look at these matches before we move on to the big kickers of Group D. A little flustered there to see Mixu go to the front, but he really just didn't want to get blocked by the protoss. Other than that, he seems to be doing a fairly standard build. If he takes a guess right about nya. There he goes. Other side, we have one gas keeping 16 probes on the minerals. Alrighty. I love this Overlord being back. He's like, I'm not getting cannon rush today. You'll often see Zergs do this. They'll send their Overlord to like the third base and then back and then out on the map again onto a ramp or something. So they scout very common proxy gateways that are super close, which are the hardest to defend, and also just they're natural because a building hatchery does not actually provide that much vision. As you can see from the Nexus as well, buildings that haven't been completed don't give a lot of vision. Four links underway, actually. They seem a little early. The Adept ain't out just yet, but that's alright with me. Get the speed out, and we have a Stargate from ShaDoWn. Chrono boosting his first Adept. Let's see if he makes a second one. Nope. It will be a Stalker. So Adept will be scouting out with the Shade. We have the 3 lings walking across the map. This one ling was looking for possible proxies of any kind. And with the 3 lings that are gonna run into the base and get some scouting done, the Adept did end up not shading out of the base, staying at home, kind of snuffing out that there were some lings underway. We see a probe falling. Now this ling is being chased. Third base underway for the Zerg. You can just make drones, and, you know, queens. He does find out that it's indeed an Oracle. We lost 3 lings to that 1 probe. And we see second gateway underway. Stalker now moving out to maybe shoo away any possible Overlords. Ooh, he might use the Oracle Vision to actually kill this Overlord instead of using the Oracle right away to do some harassment. This third base is actually unharassable since there are no drones. So this Overlord will bite to dust. We see Mixu committing to 2 Spore Crawlers and a slightly lower queen count than we're used to, but still his creep is looking good. Not saving any energy for Transfuse. ShaDoWn has put down his third base, and Mixu knows all about that, which is why he feels so safe to just spend all of his energy. Doesn't need no stinking Transfuse. Nice Revelation used for these creep tumors. Only a couple lings die. Lings die pretty fast to Adept Oracle, I must say. Back in the day, Revelation actually used to turn the Observer into, or the Oracle into an Observer for X amount of seconds. Those were a lot better at cleaning out this much creep. fourth base from Mixu. We see +1 melee. So potentially heading into that +2 melee style with banelings to start one-shotting probes. And, well, if the new proposed balance changes are anything to look at, this will be one of the last times that we'll see this. It's probably still good, honestly, but you just need more Banes to kill. Ooh! Nice Evo block, starting a lair right away. Didn't lose a drone versus these two lone adepts. ShaDoWn really wanting to get rid of these adepts. Adepts just aren't that good past the early to mid game. Unless you have glaives, which ShaDoWn does not. We see this nice Stalker Oracle push that we've been seeing from protosses. So you use the Stalkers because they're just very good units, although slightly expensive, and then use the Oracles to protect them from mass Ling, which is the only thing Zerg can really do to kill the Stalkers around this time. And he's using it to pressure the fourth base this time. Luckily he has some transfuse, but no creep here. Quite surprising. ShaDoWn did a good job of keeping that creep back enough so that he could pressure this fourth base. And for Mixu, it's all hands on deck. All of his queens are down here. He's pumping Lings. +1 about to finish. Nice split. Getting that stasis ward off without having all of his Lings being trapped. Fourth base underway for ShaDoWn. He looks to be making only gateway units right now. Oracle's doing work. One Stalker did die. Second one's being targeted by the queens. Ooh, little awkward. Move commanded towards the middle. And the Stalker split up because pathing. Lul. This one Stalker knows what's up. Get out of there, boy. No! Blink's about to finish. Oh, I didn't save it. Now we see the Blinka Micro. Very effective in keeping your Stalkers alive and, well, getting more bang for your buck when you buy those Stalkers. Meantime, both of these players have 80 workers. Fifth base for Mixu is down. We see roaches being built. We see +2 melee. We see roach speed. Do we have a baneling nest? No, we do not. So it's purely for Zerglings right now, and maybe future Ultralisk, if we're lucky. We see the first Robo facility underway. Bunch more gateways. Templar Archive speed underway. +2. I was lying. There is indeed a baneling nest. And centrifugal hooks are underway. That still gives bonus health. Might not in the future. Ling Bling Muta might just be dead in ZVT, but we'll see. Lurkers are still good units, though. Ooh. These continued move outs with Blink Stalker and Oracles. So cool. Mixu clearing up these rocks in an attempt to get this gold base up and running for himself. Get that influx of minerals. And of course another gas. It's only one gas, it's not a rich one. So you're taking that purely for the minerals. You know, more minerals for less workers is always good. Fifth base from ShaDoWn does get cancelled by Mixu. And we have these banelings moving in. There was +2, but he did not manage to find the probe line. Stalkers were in the way. Stalkers, of course, very good at tanking. Banelings. Attack now commencing. No nuclear battery present. But you don't need no batteries. On the other side of the map, though, we did see those banelings find a target. They moved all the way around into the fourth base of ShaDoWn. And it killed 14 probes in the end. Now ShaDoWn putting the pedal to the metal, still on 80 worker somehow, some way. Macroing really well. Ooh, High Templar gets sniped. Mixu's making it really difficult for ShaDoWn to stay on his side of the map. These relentless counterattacks. And these Zerglings with +2 attack, they are pretty good at killing stuff. Ooh, probes have to be retreated from the third base. Storm on the banelings. Nice splits. Corrosive Bow on the Nexus. Oracle actually gets caught. Another set of probes died. And yes, these are the sneaky banelings that we ended up missing. Oh. And he kills almost the entire mineral line. Oh, that last hit was really nice. Nice control by Mixu. 26 probes, and now he finally dips below the 80 mark. He's now 61 probes. ShaDoWn is being torn apart by these continuous Ling Bane run-bys. He's even morphing banelings in his fourth base. What a boss. This big old wall will defend you a little bit, but there needs to be another wall. Fifth base gets cancelled again. That's, of course, the downside of building this giant wall over here. You can't move down into this fifth or this fifth. So you're kind of stuck taking this as a fifth base, and while it's being denied right now by Mixu, who is almost maxed, he's just stuck on +2 making units. This is pedal to the metal Zerg, baby. He's just dumping his resources in cheap units and trading. Another 15 probes bite to dust. Damn, we did kill... See the tail end of that. Banelings blow up half of the wall. We see some shimmying back and forth at the front, but the real damage is being done in the back and somehow also in the third base. More Lings being split off. Fifth base going to get cancelled for the umpteenth time. I think it's the fourth, but yes. It has been cancelled a lot. Storma catches a couple banelings, but nice splits by Mixu to mitigate that damage and actually just abate the storm out. Fifth base gets thrown down again, but I think without 60 cannons, that won't stay up. Baneling Assault is being prepared on the fourth base, while ShaDoWn moves out. He has had enough. A lot of banelings here caught middle of the map. Very nice catch. On the other side of the map, we see a bunch of banelings. Archons, Stalkers, Anti-Templar do prevent the probes from dying, but still a couple buildings get torn down. Another cancel on the fifth base. You shall not have a fifth base, is what Mixu is telling ShaDoWn. And now he's moving with most of his army in between the third, natural, and fourth base of ShaDoWn, moving his way into the natural with a small force, splitting off and then regrouping between the fifth and third base. He's moving in. Oh, ShaDoWn didn't see it right away, so his storms were a little late. High Templar is still alive, though, but his army is dwindling fast. Nice storms, but the High Templar are being targeted. He needs to make Archons. He does make an Archon of the last two low health, low energy High Templar, so that's worth. Ooh, Stalkers do tank a bunch of banelings. Fairly cost efficient. And now, Mixu is on the retreat. He just traded off a bunch of those cheap units, and he now needs to retreat. Finally starting +1 range and 36 banelings. Why not? Gold base is now under threat. Last Oracle of the game might bite to dust and get killed. These Archons are good against Zerg units, though, especially the army of Mixu. The sixth is also being cancelled. That's 2 bases. ShaDoWn finally retaliates. Big run by into the natural. And he doesn't see it. Mixu with the relentless aggression from these run-bys with Zerglings and banelings. He's now in the main and in the natural. And even though he does not have adrenal glands just yet, I believe, he's doing a lot of damage. 18 probes more, and the fifth base is cancelled once again. It was actually completed and then killed. Oh, these guys do attack fast. There might be adrenal glands, actually. Nope. Holy shit. Zerglings are good units. Fifth base just got killed again. 40 workers are dead. ShaDoWn is stuck on 40 workers now. How many did he lose this game? ShaDoWn lost 105 probes! 105 probes! That's more than most of you make each game. And he's still in it. He has a shit ton of High Templar here. 9 High Templar trying to storm everything he sees. He now transforms them into Archons. But he doesn't have a lot of units here. These Archons need to finish up to continue the assault. Another smalling run-by joins the forces, or joins the fray. We have 2 more Archons on their way, and these Lings are uncontested, killing his third base, so ShaDoWn is heavily all in, but his supply is rapidly dwindling to this Roach Ravager force. Oracle doing her utmost, but it is not enough. The Archons fall, and ShaDoWn has to tap out. GG. And Mixu takes the first game of this best of 3 on altitude. And welcome back to Mixu versus ShaDoWn, HomeStoryCup 23, Group D. Hell yeah. Mixu just took the first game off ShaDoWn with relentless zerginess. He just kept on sending Lings and banelings into his fourth base, his third base, and never letting down. Never letting ShaDoWn take that fifth base. And ShaDoWn, even though he relentlessly build probes, which honestly impressive how many probes he rebuild. Crazy how the matchup transformed into Zerg just suiciding banelings to kill as many probes as possible, and protoss is just kind of accepting that they'll lose a bunch of probes, so they'll just keep making them, keep chrono boosting the bad boys out. Just grab a couple more gateways so you can reinforce faster. We do see Mixu this time having to take his natural at the third base location because ShaDoWn managed to block it. Last game we saw him scouting in front to make sure that he could get it or move to the third base. But this time ShaDoWn's like, nope. You're not getting that natural in a comfortable position. I'm going to make you uncomfortable right from the get-go. Other than that, pretty similar start to the previous game. The big thing being this misplaced natural base. Probe looks to confirm that it's still there. You never know. Cheeky Zerg, Fjant, for example, might put out a proxy hatch. But Mixu not quite that cultured. So I'm expecting to see speed finish here, and he's sending all of his drones to the nat. And I'm interested to see how Mixu deals with this. Some Zergs prefer to take their third base at their natural super fast, so that the creep spreads, or they delay it a little for an extra queen so that they can actually creep spread with tumors instead of a hatchery. But Mixu is more of the quick third base type. Interesting to see. We see another adept being chrono boosted out after the first adept, so a little bit of a change up from the first game. Another Stargate build though. I do like the double adept when you have blocked the natural. Look at this. He can just chill in between these bases. If Mixu is not careful and he's rallying drones one by one, suddenly, you know, 1 or 2 drones over here, they just die. So it's actually smart to just super saturate your main base a little bit if it's hard for you to deal with. Because, you know, it can happen to everybody. Suddenly you just lose a drone or 2. Adepts do go into the mineral line. They get 1 drone for their troubles, 1 Zergling for their troubles. 2 Zerglings, actually. Menaces of society, these Adepts are. The other side, we see a second gateway, and the Oracle is being chrono boosted out. So, aside from no Stalker but an Adept, pretty similar builds for ShaDoWn. 3rd Adept, actually. Other 2 Adepts shit out. Oh my god, it was on a rally. Oh no, you were not supposed to be there. You were the chosen one. He probably wanted it to be in the wall. That Adept is dead. Aye, that was a little opportunistic. Trying to defend these 3 bases versus an Oracle is so difficult, and that's why you often see other pros neglect to defend their 3rd base, super saturate their other bases until their spores are done, and then move to take the 3rd. It's just a lot cleaner and a lot safer. Really nice adaptation by ShaDoWn. First game, didn't move in with his Oracle at all. He used it to kill an Overlord together with a Stalker. This game, no Stalker, never mind, now the Stalker's here, so he still does the same thing, but in a different order. Now he sent out his Oracle super early to take advantage of this imbalance in the Zerg structure. Now we have 3 Adepts instead of the 4 that ShaDoWn would have liked. 3rd base is now saturated, and 4th base is being taken by Mixu. But on the other side, ShaDoWn also has a 3rd base. Now elects to get a shield battery, because those are pretty good. 2 Adepts do go down. Adepts aren't that good versus the Queens, but there is no Stalker force just yet. We see +1 on their way. I assume we'll see Blink here. And he's... oh, another Adept. That makes me think it's Glaives. But no, it is Blink. He just wants to have an equal number of Adepts, because 2 Adepts one-shot a drone. 1 Adept just kind of looks at drones, and then gets slaughtered by a million Zerglings. So we see, again, Evo Chamber, Baneling Nest, and a bunch of gases being added on after the first 3 bases have been saturated for Mixu. We see a couple drones being sniped at the 3 Oracle count. Feels like a pretty high count. Ooh, these Adepts have been spotted. Ooh, they are alive, though, in the natural, being able to target down more drones. Drones being pulled now, and now they're gonna derp out. But no, nice control by ShaDoWn. As soon as they started move commanding, because they couldn't target any more drones, he hold positioned them. So that they would at least take a couple more pop shots at the Lings. Banelings coming into the base, that is a little bit hopeful of a Baneling run by. No Baneling speed, not even +1. He's just really hoping nobody was watching, and he was dancing on his 3rd base. But, oh, the Oracle's doing work. This seems like a bit of an overextension by Mixu. Last game, this was fine because your economy was booming, but right now you have 49 drones. He's making more drones now, but ShaDoWn, I think you're in the driver's seat, my boy. 4th base keeps being denied, though, so that is pretty nice for Mixu. Now we see the Roach Warren on their way. We have a lair, but we are not using a lair just yet. And a 5th base is also being thrown down. 4th base of ShaDoWn. I love this 4th base position. Makes this 5th base really easy to take if you can hold this slightly more forward 4th base. Love it. It's also on a high ground, so they can't really siege you from... this is more of a low ground position. So I do like that now we have this Stalker force once again. I'm waiting for the 3 Oracles to join up. But the Oracles actually have to defend the 5th base. We see more Banelings. Mixu is just... he's a Baneling terrorist. He watched Fantasy play with Vultures, and he's like, I want to do that, but with Banes. Oracle Stalker, pretty good at killing Infinity Zerglings. He's canceling the 5th base. He's attacking his 4th base, but also moving into Panes. He gets 2? Oh my god. No. Oh my god. Mixu, where... Ugh. He almost had a bunch of juicy probe kills, but he ended up missing all of the probes. The hotkey to explodinate your banelings is X, by the way. You can just press it and then they'll explode without needing a target. That would have been nice there. Very hard to control though, and ShaDoWn was being very tricky with his probe movements. He had an Archon moving in, or morphing in. Like, all of these nooks and crannies are easily stopgapped with one blink Stalker. So dealing with the, well, Relentless Baneling run-bys really well this game. ShaDoWn is like, okay, now I know what you're gonna do. I'm not gonna get flustered. 3 oracles, though. Shades of Haas right here. Just a couple more and you can kill the Spore Caller and then the Hatchery. We see another 10 Banes being morphed in. 11 Banelings even. Now we see +2 melee and +1 range. And we see Burrow. And 4 Dropper Lords. That is interesting. If he's gonna drop Banelings, that would be a really nice addition to this style. Actually surprised he didn't start doing that earlier. It seems to be mostly Zerglings though, but I feel like if he did that a little earlier, that would have been so cash money in the bank. We see this Roach Baneforce still lurking out and about, ready to pounce on the army of ShaDoWn. These 5 Templar do look like juicy targets. Ooh, he explodinates a couple Banelings on the 5th base, but he does get a cancel on it. Very nice to see Mixu's game plan in full action. He's kind of okay with ShaDoWn taking a 4th base, because that is spreading himself thin, opening him up to dangerous Baneling run-bys. But a 5th base? That's too much, sir. I can't allow that. And I like how he's using these Dropper Lords on this map. I hope to see that in... Well, if this goes to a Game 3, I hope to see it a little earlier. Baneling drop? Onto no probes at all, but a lot of +2 Zerglings in the main and the natural. No, F2, stop! Stop! Mamma mia. The F2 gods strike again. Ooh! Those Corrosive Biles did get a nice hit. No scope, 420, blaze it. The drops have been stopped by, well, honestly, by Mixu himself. More so than by ShaDoWn. Ooh, this Bane, oh! The one Baneling that could. 19 probes die, and suddenly the worker count's looking pretty good for Mixu. He's still in this game. It looked a little dicey for him early, honestly. I felt like ShaDoWn was going to snowball him to death, but he ended up actually persisting, persevering, and now he's in this game. But ShaDoWn's army is pretty big, and he now has this 5th base. In contrast to last game, where 5th base was a pipe dream for ShaDoWn, we see +1 air being researched. I kind of expect to see a Fleet Bacon and another Stargate or 2 real early, or real soon. The creep spread, however, is looking quite nice, at least in the center of the map, giving Mixu a nice bit of map control. Banelings moving into the 3rd base, looking for those juicy probes! And they find them. 19 probes die, and like a shield battery, and a pylon, and a Templar, and then he just moves away. This is how ZVP is played, huh? We just kill probes every day. Banelings don't give a shit about cannons, and he just kills a bunch of pylons, zealots, and cannons instead. Still, lost mining time for the protoss, and we see 24 probes in total did die to the Relentless Mixu aggression. I feel like he also sent some units into the third base while we were watching the assault on the fifth base. But ShaDoWn has had enough. He has 120 army supply. He's like, no. No, I've had enough. Your creep is not far enough out here. I can just move into your bases and kill them. 40 probes, almost 50 probes die. Kind of putting ShaDoWn in a do-or-die situation here. And doing it, he will. He has 5 Archons, a bunch of Stalkers, plus 3 attack, and 7 High Templar with Storm. But Mixu identified that High Templar threat. He sends him. Holy moly! Oh my god, ShaDoWn takes the game. Mixu ran out of steam. That was a nice engagement, though. I really thought he could make something happen there with the banelings connecting onto the High Templar as they did. But he just didn't have enough Zerg stuff. Even though he killed a shit ton of probes, he just didn't have enough backbone of an army anymore to deal with ShaDoWn's 120 army supply army. Mixu had a similar army supply, but it was in roaches, and we all know what we say about roaches. And we're back here in our final game of this best of 3 series between Mixu and ShaDoWn. HomeStoryCup 23 Group D. Second game was taken by ShaDoWn. Mixu, again, was trying to employ this relentless baneling run-by aggression style, never really moving off of Bane Roach unit composition with a couple Ravagers thrown in there. But ShaDoWn was ready for it. He was primed to defend those run-bys, and even though he lost probes at a time, sometimes, he did not take devastating losses until the very end. But in the very end, Mixu had already, or ShaDoWn had already amassed an army that was too much for Mixu to handle in one wave. Mixu's style really relies on being in the driver's seat, pummeling your protoss opponent down and down again. Every time they try to climb up, take a 5th base, you say no. You trade your army for their 5th base and a part of their army and a couple probes, and then you rebuild. But if they're inside your base killing your dudes, then it's very hard for the Zerg player to do that, remaxing and to continuously trade out the expensive units of the protoss. And Mixu wasn't able to make that happen in the second game. ShaDoWn could comfortably establish a 5th base. Well, not that comfortably. There were still lots of banelings around. And even the drops were really cool. And he did end up killing a bunch of probes again. So again, we have the natural of Mixu being misplaced because of the block that ShaDoWn did. I really like that. It is very annoying to deal with as the Zerg. As you saw in the second game, you get all these little advantages that are really nice. They just feel good because you know that the Zerg feels bad. Now we have the Stargate again. We have the Singular Adept. I'm fully expecting ShaDoWn to do the same thing and make a second Adept this time. Probe is scouting about. Mixu's going for the fast 3rd base response again. And here it is, another Adept. Mixu checking it out, seeing where the Chrono Boost is being used. And the Adept is going across the map. There are 3 Zerglings chilling over here and 1 in the main. Very nice. Cool attention to detail from Mixu. ShaDoWn confirms there is a 3rd base, and the Stargate is done, so I expect the Oracle to come out once again. And we have this Queen ready to spread the creep towards the 3rd base so that defending becomes easier. Puts it a little further back because you don't want these 2 Adepts to walk up and snipe it. Shades going into the main. Don't finish though. 1 Zergling dies. Oh, the drones! The drones! These Adepts just walk up menacingly, kill a drone, kill a Zergling, and ShaDoWn out. Take a little bit of hull damage. Second gateway underway. Pretty similar build by ShaDoWn, going down to take his third Nexus. And the Oracle comes in again this time, but doesn't go to the third base, where this time there are no drones there. There's also not a drone trying to make a Spore Collar this time. He reroutes it. We have one Spore in the main, one to be in the Nat, and the Polish Gambit at the third, which is 2 queens. 2 queens are barely enough to kill an Oracle with perfect micro. We see Mixu mining gas again from 1 gas. Just timing out his buildings. He's making a Roach Warren first this game, instead of the Evo Chamber Baneling nest we're used to from the last 2 series, so maybe he will change it up. We see a couple more drones getting killed. 6 drones already. For only 1 Adept killed, the Zerglings went out on the map. Did some poking. He did see the third base. This Overlord might die. And now we have this depth pressure again with the 3 Oracles again. ShaDoWn sticking to his guns. It's like it worked the second time and it worked like a charm. What do you got? Now we got an Evo Chamber underway. 4 Adepts attempting to shade in. Really annoying for the Zerg to deal with. Look at this creep being barely not connected. That's what happens, folks, if you block the natural. Zergs hate him. And we see the Twilight Council +1, and I fully expect to see Blink once again. ShaDoWn. Bit of a one-trick pony, Doing the same build, just playing real solid. Not relying on some cheap tactical tricks. No special strategies for the maps that were elected for this best of 3. He's here to win. Pressuring on the 4th base, actually, with an Adept Stalker force. That does look different from the last 2 games. We see +1 melee underway. I don't see the Baneling nest just yet. And this 4th base, reminiscent to the first game, is now being pressured again. In the first game, there also was not a lot of creep, so it was hard to defend this, but now I don't see the endless waves of Zerglings. We actually see roaches already, so these are quicker roaches than we saw from Mixu in the previous games. He's trying to drone up, get to those 80 drones whilst defending this attack. Mixu, very nice. He knew how many units he needed. Doesn't want to commit his Zerglings to kill these Stalkers, but still ends up losing quite a few because Oracles have really strong anti-Zergling lasers. Bunch more gateways being added on, big wall being built. No banelings will be allowed unless they bust down these pylons. It's actually completely walled in. I don't think you can get into this area without killing a building. So that's really annoying for the pathing as well. If you just send something here, it will like kind of derp out. I'd probably die. 3 queens and a spore, pretty good. Against 3 oracles. The oracle does end up falling to the Tempest range of the queen. Now we head on into a pretty chill mid-game where Mixu's taking his 4th. He's just getting his upgrades really fast storm this game. And Mixu, I haven't seen any of those baneling assaults you've been doing in the last games. I just see lings and roaches. And now the baneling speed is underway. We see 80 drones. We see 5 bases. But the aggression has been tempered a little. We see charge lots or charge lot upgrade. More High Templar for Storma. There's +2 attack. Actually, a nice War Prism underway. Would be really nice to have in the main. warp in a nice round of charged zealots. Now we see the banelings being morphed. A bunch of banelings already underway. Mixu is moving in. But ShaDoWn is ready. He has Storm. He has an Archon. He has a bunch of Stalkers. And he has the wall. The wall has been breached, though, by these oodles and oodles of banelings. And now it's very hard for the protoss, actually, to defend 1922 probes. The 4th base is also under assault. He actually had more banelings than he needed. 23 probes die. Nuclear battery keeping everything alive, but... Oh my god, the banelings! 40 probes die in one fell swoop. What an attack by Mixu! Making ShaDoWn trip over his own legs. I thought ShaDoWn was ready for this. He had Archons, he had a lot of Stalkers, he had Storm, and he had a wall. Man, he should have had a wall from here to here, maybe. Although they came from the top? I don't know what you do. This seems like you have to... Oh my god! And there was also a run-by into the natural, killing all of his probes over there. 65 probes got killed by Mixu in a matter of minutes. 65 probes. That's literally all the probes he killed this game. ShaDoWn got sent back into the Stone Age. His 4th base got killed. He has no mining in his 3rd, no mining in his natural, and his main base is almost empty. Poor ShaDoWn got pulled apart by this Mixu assault. The Zerg overwhelms. And that gives Mixu the dub. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed that series. And I'll see you in the next one, where we watch Cyril compete with Showtime and Spirit to decide who moves on through out of Group D. I'll see you then. Cheers.